Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hello, studio owners. It's Clint. Welcome to episode number 83 of the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. Thrilled, excited, pumped that you could join us again this week. I hope you've been enjoying our last couple of episodes, which has really been about leadership and you stepping into the role as the CEO of your studio. I don't think there's ever enough work we can do on ourselves as leaders when it comes to just going to the next level, because as we do that, so does the rest of our business. I don't know if you've ever noticed that within your studio as you learn something new, or you grow, or you go to an event, or read a book, or do a course, and you implement what you learn, you kind of take the next step forward. And with that step forward, the things maybe underneath you rattle a little bit. Maybe you implement something that your office staff get a little bit unnerved about because, again, it's new for them, or you put a new system in place for your teachers and it's new for them, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know about this. And once you get through those couple of grumbles and rattles and you get the whole team on board, then your studio takes a step up. And then that happens again, and you take another step up and another step forward. And that's really where the magic is. And that's why I love to see studios go. It's really, it's an amazing thing to watch when a studio owner goes from really being the dance teacher to the owner, to the business owner, to the CEO of the studio. So I've got another episode for you today, which is really just about that very thing, going from the dance teacher to the CEO. Because I don't know about you, but when I started my dance studio, it wasn't like I was thinking to myself, you know what, there is a great commercial opportunity here to make some money running a dance studio. I don't know. Did any of you think like that? I'm guessing probably not, because I've never met a dance studio that has said that. Generally, they say to me when I meet people, and I'm speaking at a lot of conferences at the moment over here in the US across summer, and so many people, when I say to them, one of the questions I always ask is, tell me about why you started your dance studio, because I'm always so fascinated why people start. And generally, they will say, well, I was a dance teacher and I love dance and I didn't want to go and work in an office, so I thought it'd be a good idea to open a dance studio, right? And what that tells me is I was passionate about dance. I love kids. I couldn't think of doing anything else. I definitely don't want to work in an office. And so what you've got is you've got the heart and soul to run a dance studio. But we know it takes a lot more than that, right? Because we get into the studio and we're teaching dance and it's all fun for the first week. And then we're like, oh, we need to collect money. We need to invoice people. We need to see who's coming to class and who's not. We need to schedule teachers. We need to pay teachers. Should they be contractors or employees? We need to schedule in holidays. We need to run a recital or performance. We need to charge people for going to conventions, or we need to create a competition team, right? So then what comes on board is what used to be this fun, rock up a few times a week and teach a dance class, and let's not forget about dealing with parents, is that we now have a business. And so what we expect ourselves to do is go from teacher, dance teacher, to entrepreneur. And what we're not doing is we're not getting the skills, the resources, and the tools between all of that, from dance teacher to CEO of our studio. We're not getting all of the information we need in between that to really run a successful, profitable business that, sure, makes a huge impact on the lives of your students and parents. So I'm going to talk about, I just quickly want to mention two books, and you probably would have heard me talk about E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber before. It's a great book, and it quite simply talks about this notion of, being a technician, the dance teacher, the hairdresser, the beautician, the personal trainer, to the entrepreneur, actually owning a business in the space that you know. So that's the first book that I think you should read. If you're an audio person, grab it on Audible. Really easy to listen to, and some really cool core systems. The other book I really love, which goes into some more detail, is called Work the System by Sam Carpenter. Definitely a great read for studio owners. So there's two books. Both of them talk about the concepts of technician to entrepreneur. Work the System is going to talk more about those business systems that you need in your studio. You'll love both of these books. So recommended reading over the next couple of weeks. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do with you today is I'm just going to share with you the 5 things that are going to assist you in moving from the dance teacher to the CEO of your studio. So write these down. Hope you've got a notepad and pen handy, or a tablet, to kind of write down these points and see what's going to resonate most with you. Also, take note of what you're currently doing and what you're focusing on, and those things that you're not currently focusing on. You might want to create 2 columns. Doing, not doing, basically. And then at the end of today's podcast, you can work out, okay, so what do I need to start improving on? Or maybe what's a couple of tweaks I can make in the doing section? And where do I need to start? Just start one foot in front of the other with the not doing section. Okay, the first thing is that you really need to be working on business building strategies and your vision, which I talked a little bit about in the last podcast when I mentioned vision, values, mission, and your vision. So what I would love for you to do is block out 2 hours a day. Wow, seems a lot, right? 2 hours a day to work on strategy and the vision of your studio, 5 days a week. Alternatively, block out one entire day during the week just to work on strategy, vision, and for you to be inspired. Okay, they're your options. They're your options. And you're going to throw a whole lot of excuses, and you're probably thinking about them in your head at the moment. I don't have time for that, Clint, but I've got a family, but I'm teaching everything. This is this prescription. I'm the doctor. This is the prescription I'm giving you to get out of maybe where you are at the moment, which is maybe around your business isn't growing. Maybe it's plateaued for the last couple of years. Maybe you can't get above a certain amount of students. And if you're thinking about any of those things and you're like, yeah, that's me, I'm assuming, well, actually I know because I've worked with thousands of studio owners now, that it's because you're not blocking out adequate time during your week to work on strategy, strategic things that move your business forward, and vision. What do you want to create? And so during this time, the things that you should be working on: marketing plans, attraction, retention of students, forming strategic partnerships. Partnerships is such a great way for you to bring more people into your studio by working with other local businesses. Dreaming up new products and services, sitting in the park or sitting, on your favorite couch and just watching things online and feeling inspired, and maybe watching dance videos or YouTube videos and coming up with what comes out of that creative time, dreaming up new products and services. And use this time as well to dream big about where you want your studio to go. So often we just jump on the treadmill and we keep going. 30 years later, we get off, we're exhausted. We look like we're about 100 and we're really like 50. And because we never got off. And the last thing I want for you is to jump off that treadmill at 50 and say, I'm exhausted, because you thought you couldn't give yourself the time to work on what you really wanted to build. And you might have lost sight of what it was that you wanted to build because you just kept going. Please take some time out. Schedule now some strategy time into your day. Number 2, and some of you are going to cringe at this, I'm warning you now, but it doesn't need to be cringeworthy, is you need to build a public profile. Now, the world today, so gone is, B2C, business to consumer, B2B, business to business. The whole world now is P to P, people to people by people. And you would have heard me talk about that before. And with the rise of dance studios opening every single week around the world, now more than ever, you need to make sure that you are building a personal brand next door to your studio. Right next to each other, they're brother and sister, right? It is the perfect time now for you to be creating videos, letting people know that you are the CEO of the studio, and not in an arrogant, I love myself way, but in a way that that you can resonate with them, that they know you're a real person, that they can go, wow, that studio looks awesome. That Miss Jenny, like, she's super cool. Right, so you want to start building a personal brand. Now, some people might say, well, then what happens if I want to sell the business? That's fine. You've built a brand. Your studio is a brand. But they need to start connecting, not with Jenny's dance studio. They need to start connecting with Jenny. Okay, so build a public profile. It's going to be one of the biggest things that we see, I'm predicting, over the next 12 months is studio owners becoming their own, not their own little stars in their studio, but are going to be putting out, videos and blogs and creating content marketing so that they can stand out from the studio down the road that also, has Jazz Hands Jazz. So really don't use that name, by the way. It's not very good. So really focus on building a public profile. Number 3 is cultivate your key networks and relationships. I've never ever, when I've interviewed so many successful dance studio owners, but also successful business owners in the world, and they will never say, when I say, how did you do it? Tell me how you did it. They'll never say, I did it all on my own. Never have I heard any of them say, I did it all on my own. And if you read the, biographies of, any of the successful people, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Oprah, any of the books around them, you'll never see them say, I did it all on my own. Generally, they talk about the fact that they had support from, mentors and other business owners and their networks. So if you're not already part of a group of business owners, online or offline, and you're not seeking out mentors or going to workshops or courses to keep you moving forward, now it has to be the time. You can't wait any longer, otherwise you are going to be left behind. Be part of a network. It doesn't have to be dance studio owners. I mean, we have the association. I would love to see you inside the Dance Studio Owners Association, because I believe truly we have one of the strongest networks of dance studio owners from around the world, 500 dance studio owners from around the world that talk to each other nearly every day. And so I'd love to invite you into that, but it doesn't have to be into ours. It can be into any network that you resonate with, that can help you move forward, that can support you. But invest, and cultivate those networks and those relationships. It's really important. Number 4, hire rock star players. So I want you to think about who instead of what, and that's one of the biggest shifts that you need to make as the CEO of your studio, and that's when magic really happens. And so what I mean by that is, I need an office manager. I'm hunting for an office manager, and they're going to do all of these tasks that come under office manager. What's more important is who do you want to have in the business? And go back to your values, your mission, your vision. What are you trying to achieve? You want someone that's on the same playing field as you, someone that's going to understand you, not someone that's like you. We make that mistake a lot. We, as a studio owner, we'll be a studio owner, and then we'll hire an office manager that is highly creative and, outgoing and upbeat. But actually what we need is someone that's highly analytical, left brain, good with numbers, high in implementation and fact finding. There's a great test that I suggest with all of my inner circle, our mastermind members, which is the Kolbe test, Kolbe, Kolbe, and it measures these things. And it's great to do around staff. My whole team have done it. We know where each other sit on the different segments, who's high in implementation, who's a high quick start in terms of who's like high on vision and ideas. That's me. I'm 9 out of 10. Fact finder, who goes into the nitty gritty details. That's definitely not me, but that's certainly our project manager. And so you want to find a good complement to you for the actual roles that you want them to do. Your staff are totally the backbone of your business, and it's really important that you have the right people, in the right roles. Don't think for a second that you're saving money by not hiring people because you're doing everything yourself. That's not a business, that's a job. You don't have a business if you can't leave it and have other people work on it to make it run without you. It's a job, and you might as well go and work for someone else who's going to pay you probably a lot more money. So start thinking about creating a business which is systems and people. And that's really going to help you, but hire the right people. Don't just hire the mother because she's going to do a contra deal and so you'll save money. That relationship will never end or start well, as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen it work. All right, number 5. So that was about hiring rockstar players. Number 5 is put money away. Breaks my heart when I get emails or Facebook messages with people saying, Clint, this is it. I have one last week of money in the bank to pay for our expenses and I'm done. And it breaks my heart because I see so many studio owners who are giving, so passionate, love what they do, provide amazing service, but they just never learned how to deal with money or brought someone on board that helped them with the money side of things. And I did a video on Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago to our association members, which was like the 3 people you need in your business: the dreamer, the doer, and the doubter. If you're in the association, jump on in. You can check that video out. We had lots of comments on that as well. And the doubter is the person that knows about the money. You know, they are the ones that are questioning different things, different moves that you're making, decisions that you're making, so that you can become a better leader, but also so your business can thrive. And so the message here is just put away some money, have a little, one of our members called it their summer stash. For summer, they've got a certain amount of money. They know that they can run across summer without needing to make any money in case there is a dire situation one year. So make sure you've always got some money aside. Okay, so they're the 5 things. They're the 5 things that are going to help you transition from dance teacher to the CEO of your studio. A quick recap. Number 1, and write these on the, you've got a list going. What are you doing? What do you need? What are you not doing? Number 1, work on the business building strategy and vision 2 hours a day. It's going to seem a lot, right? Maybe you want to crunch that down. Maybe it's just an hour a day that you start with. Something is better than nothing, but most important, start making it a habit. Start making it a habit. Number 2, build a public profile. I want to see your pretty face on Facebook Live videos, on pictures. I don't want your studio to be all about you. I want you to give value still to your potential customers and your existing customers, but I want to see more of you. Who is the person behind this amazing studio? Number 3, cultivate key networks and relationships. Number 4, hire rockstar players. Number 5, put away your money. Not all of it. You need to put some back into the business to grow it, but don't go spending it all. And that is it. 5 areas of your studio. Yeah? Hope that you enjoyed that. I enjoyed talking about this because, as you know, one of my favorite things to chat about, aside from retention and building systems, is creating amazing leaders. And you as a studio are a leader to sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of people every single week that walk through your door. You might not know it, but you are essentially affecting every single person that comes through your door in some way. And we lose sight of that. We lose track of it because we only end up seeing, and feeling the day-to-day things that we're getting, that interaction with our office staff member, that text message with the teacher, that phone call with the teacher, that email correspondence with the parent. We are doing so much more than that. Never forget it. Don't give up on what you started, on why you started your studio. All right, I definitely am not going into an Oprah spiel here. I want to let you go. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Super pumped. Next week, one of the things that I'm going to be kind of digging into is I'm going to share with you, which I haven't shared before, the one decision that I made that completely changed my studio, turned my studio around, and also some tips on how I ended up selling my dance studio to my business partner. So make sure you check it out. It's going to be episode number 84. We are getting close to 100. We are pushing, we are getting there. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an amazing, awesome, fantastic week, and I'll talk to you next week. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't, guys, nearly last chance to grab my book with the bonuses, my book that I'm super proud of. And if you haven't got a copy in your hands now, I want to ask you why. I'm offended. No, I'm not really. But I feel like if you grab the book, that your life in studio will really start to make motion towards the greatest that it could be. Check out dancestudiotransformation.com. We'd love for you to grab a copy with our bonuses. $19.95, cost of less than a week's worth of coffees, really, and can do a lot more for your life. Believe me. Talk to you next week. Peace out. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.